Hi, welcome to Geek Church. This is episode 26. Jared's going to be bringing you a review of a couple DVDs that you may have missed, and Jeff is going to be bringing you a review of Kung Fu Panda 2.
Alright, well, as you know, there's a lot of great superhero and sci-fi movies in the theaters right now and coming out. In fact, I'm finally going to go see Thor tomorrow night. Should be seeing X-Men in a couple days with my wife for her birthday, and of course for Father's Day I'm going to go see Green Lantern. And of course there's many more coming out. I'm very excited about stuff like Super 8. But you know, with all this stuff and all the attention it's getting, I think there's some stuff that could be overlooked. And so what I want to do is take a second to highlight a few things that I found recently that I've been watching through Netflix or Redbox or Hulu, those kind of things. That I don't have anything from Hulu this week. It's all in the red zone this week. Okay, so with that, I'm just going to go through a couple of them. Alright, so the first one is Thor Tales of Asgard, and I picked this one up through Redbox. And the whole idea is it's before he ever lifted his mighty hammer. Now I'll say it's not great, but it's definitely not bad, and it's definitely worth $1 to go pick up, well, $1.08 with tax, to go pick up, or if you can get it through Netflix or something like that. I don't know if I would buy it. Well, I wouldn't buy it. I don't know if you should buy it. If you're a big Thor fan, you definitely have to have it. The story was actually really good, and it showed, you know, Thor and Loki before they were enemies, back when they were brothers. I'd say my biggest complaint with it, because the animation was great, that was no problem there, voice acting, all that stuff was good. I'd say my biggest complaint is, well, one, Thor doesn't have his hammer, he's a kid, so it's not really Thor. You think of Thor as this huge thunder god. It's a little out of character, and because I'm not a huge Thor fan, I didn't care that much about his backstory. But the biggest thing that kind of annoyed me is, he starts off as this like arrogant kid who thinks he can just take anyone, and he kind of becomes humbled by this movie. Then that kind of repeats itself, because the whole point of like the Thor comics and even the movie is he gets sent down to Earth to learn humility. So how many times does he have to learn the lesson? So to me it's a little redundant that way. But if you're a fan of even just the Marvel animations they've been doing, definitely rent this one. It's great. And yeah, go Thor fans. Okay, the second one is Green Hornet. Now, let's see. Of course, I was excited about this for two reasons. One, Seth Rogen, when I heard... Actually, I heard about when he's still fat. So I was like, wait, how is he going to play Green Hornet? He's going to lose weight. How's that going to work? So I was definitely excited because I love the guy. I think he's super funny. And then, of course, I was never a Green Hornet fan as a kid, but my dad was. So, like, when I was like, oh, I'm all into Batman, it's so cool. He's like, well, when I was a kid, I watched Green Hornet. It's kind of like Batman and this thing. So I was like, oh, okay, well, they're bringing it back, you know, so if nothing else, I gotta go watch it for my dad. Well, I didn't go see it in the theaters, of course, because I kind of ignored it, because Green Hornet just made me think of Green Lantern, and I just wanted to see Green Lantern. So, but I did finally pick it up through Redbox on this one again, and again, it was definitely worth the $1.08. Not going to buy it, but I would definitely buy it over Thor, the Tales of Asgard that I talked about. And if it had some really good special features, like making of kind of stuff, then I'd go ahead and you know, drop like $10 to buy it or something. But yeah, the movie was definitely much more campy than the original TV show kind of thing. But I enjoyed it. A lot of people, I was expecting it to be horrible because I heard a lot of people talk like really, like even some stupid lady on the radio who like doesn't know anything, and she's like talking about how bad it was. So I'm like, okay, obviously it's gotta be really bad. But I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. By no means is this like a great superhero movie, but and someone complained, I put something on Facebook how it wasn't as bad as I thought, and someone complained that the acting wasn't all that good, and I'm like, well, that's your fault. Like, you don't go into this kind of movie expecting great acting. I mean, it's like a superhero comedy. I mean, come on. I mean, Seth Rogen, the guy from Knocked Up, it's like, it's not supposed to be some great intellectual, Academy Award-winning acting or story. But I do have to say, I thought it was a lot of fun. It's a great date movie if you or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, whoever's watching this, are even slightly into superhero films. Everything's just over the top. Even the villain is silly, and like no one takes him seriously. So he keeps trying to be meaner and meaner and like kill more people, and people just don't find him scary. And so by the end, he goes completely over the top, takes on this like Joker-esque kind of like trying to like, even has this like thing he says, this monologue right before he kills you, and it just doesn't work for him. And so it's a good, fun film. Alright, and the last one is, once again, Redbox. I promise eventually there'll be some Hulu and Netflix stuff in here, but I just went out and splurged the other day and got a bunch of movies, is I Am Number 4. And I haven't heard a lot of reviews about this. I know one of my wife's friends made a comment about how it was horrible, she didn't like it or something. Personally, I really enjoyed it. To me, it was almost like, I was watching it, I got the impression of like, okay, is this going to be like the next Twilight kind of thing for like the younger age? Because if so, I'm excited, because even though I'm not like a big Twilight basher, that's mostly because I've stayed away from it. And I've seen the movies kind of. I've seen them in like group settings where like everyone was kind of talking and eating and stuff, so it was like they're kind of paid attention to. So like I said, even though I'm not against Twilight, I'm by no means a fan of Twilight. This to me was 10 times better. And of course it's sci-fi, so as much as I do love the whole vampire werewolf thing, I just don't think it was very done. The love story was so sappy and annoying. This one, it was awesome. It felt to me almost like Roswell the movie. And I'm a huge fan of the old show Roswell that was on for 3 seasons. I watched that thing like faithfully. That was like the greatest show. I have them all on DVD. You know, I've watched them through again since. So to me it was almost like sweet. It was like tickling my Roswell bone. I don't think that makes any sense. But anyways, it was very good. And of course it was based off of a book. I think it was like a junior sci-fi novel, I don't know, whatever. But apparently it did well enough where they're going to be making a sequel, and it's actually August 23rd of this year. Which, the first one also came out this year, so it's, I guess they're doing the Twilight thing and trying to rush them through and get them out, which makes sense, because, you know, there's hype, you want money. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed it. This is one that if it had, like, I would definitely buy this one if it had any kind of special features. I wouldn't pay money if it was just a movie on the disc, but that's just me. I'm a features guy. The sequel is going to be, I guess, about number 7, even though it's going to be called something like along the lines of The Power of Number 6, or The Power of 6, so something like that, which is the girl who came in the first movie, but then the film's going to be about number 7. And what happened to number 5? Alright, with that, there's some things that hopefully you didn't miss. If you did, go pick them up. Like I said, Netflix, you know, if you're already paying for the subscription, it's free. Hulu, catch on Hulu, it's free. If-ish, I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with Hulu. And then, of course, Redbox, $1.08 with tax. Just don't forget to take it back after you're done. And, alright, that's it. That's all I got.
Welcome to 3 Minute Movies. Of course, I am Jeff, and I'm here to talk to you about Kung Fu Panda 2. And first, why am I going to see Kung Fu Panda 2? It's like Thor is out, but we can talk about that later. First, the movie, I give it a 3 out of 5, I think. It was entertaining, but it was very unsatisfactory at the end. There was a lot of plot points that were in it that was just like they didn't do anything with. I just felt like if you're a 10-year-old graduating or whatever, or you're like a little kid, go ahead, go see it. Feast your eyes, whatever you want to say. The animation was very crisp and clean, I have to say. That was very good, but I thought the dialogue was very limited and very, I don't know, there wasn't enough like conversation between the characters. There was a lot of inner monologues, which was kind of cool. You got to see a lot of character piece of the panda named Po. The panda going through finding himself, a lot of self-exploration. It was very interesting watching like his character kind of develop, but like I said, I kind of wanted to see the other of the 5 and how they developed into a team. I wanted to see how they reacted to. I just wanted to see their characters developed a little more, because it seemed like they wanted to make them into something almost like a Green Lantern Corps kind of thing, but they just kind of didn't, and it was very disappointing, I guess. But other than that, I mean, of course, I went to see it. I wanted to see Thor and Priest, so I was kind of disappointed. I mean, taking your little brother to a movie, I mean, you let him pick, right? So that's really all I got to say. I mean, a 3 out of 5. I'd say a decent date movie, I guess you could say, but that's about it.
Hey guys, just want to give a quick heads up and say changes are going to be coming. I can't say a lot, and we've told you guys over and over that this whole thing's kind of an experiment. Well, things are kicking into a higher gear, and we're starting to formalize what we want to do with Geek Church a little bit more. Like you've probably noticed, the website is come a long way, geekchurch.net. We've added blogs. It's really changing. I've been talking to comic shops. We're going to be advertising, doing events. This Sunday I'm going to be at a comic convention, so things are really coming a long way. So I can't really go into a lot of the changes, but in case you guys are kind of wondering why there's going to be some changes,
we've been drafted.
Okay, well, that's our show. Thanks for watching, and check us out next week for episode 27. This episode...
Episode 26.
Episode 26.
You can just say Geek Church, you don't have to say episode 26.
If you say it every time, that's going to sound stupid if you don't say it. I want to laugh. I haven't done this in a really long time. I'm going to be like, here it is. Hi, welcome to Geek Church. This is episode 26, and in this episode, Jared's going to be bringing you some reviews of a couple DVDs that you may have missed, and Jeff is going to give you a review of Now you have bloopers. I forgot what I was doing. Okay, that's it. Tune in next week. Not tune in. That's 1950s. Check episode 27 out next week. We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony.
I'm probably going to use that one.
No!
I'm probably
I look retarded.